After what's been a whirlwind year of Eurovision, fashion, and many stints across Europe, Andrew Lambrou landed back in Sydney and has finally released his new track, Take My Breath Away, available now worldwide. Andrew, welcome, and it's lovely to see you.
Thank you. It's very good to be here. Thanks for having me.
But you just take my breath away.
It's been a little while since you've released new music, but
Yeah.
we've finally got your new track, Take My Breath Away. It's dark, it's mysterious. Tell us what it's about.
Yeah, so the track is basically about finding someone that sweeps you off your feet. And no matter if you want to pursue the relationship, if you the time is right, you just can't help the feeling. So that's basically what it's about. Because sometimes in life, things are happening and might not be the right time for you to be in a relationship, but then you meet someone and you just can't help it, and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's basically what the song's about.
Love that. How long were you working on this track?
It's funny actually. So I went to Greece. I just came back from Greece, but 4 weeks ago I was I was in Greece for 3 months, and then I came back, and then I went back to Greece. Right. So just before I left for that trip, I wrote the song. Literally like 2 days before my 3 month Europe Greece trip, I wrote the song. I was just in the studio with a very good friend of mine. His name's Cameron Robertson. He's a fantastic producer, and he's also part of a band called Glades. And we are just having fun, and we're just thinking, let's just write something. I'm going to Greece in a couple of days, no pressure. Let's just see how we go. And we came up with something that I was a big fan of. So the label loved it too, and the team, and then we just went from there. Really, it was quite a smooth process. But but yeah, I know it's been a while since I released something, of course, since Eurovision. So it's exciting to finally get something out there, moving again.
Definitely your sound's evolved since your days. I mean, all Eurovision fans will remember you from back from Australia Decides, Electrify, now Eurovision, and now this follow-up song. But there's always this kind of underlying darkness, broodiness. Even in the video clip, there's looks to be cling film. You're coming through plastic.
Yeah.
Tell us what was it like filming that? Did you film it in Sydney or overseas?
So it was filmed in Greece, and yeah, it was a fantastic day. We got the job done, and I'm excited for the video to come out. It comes out in like 6 hours, I believe, something like that. But yeah, there's always a bit of darkness to my music. I think it's something I just lean towards naturally. And I'm heavily influenced by artists like The Weeknd and stuff like that. So I like that observation of yours because it's definitely the goal. So yeah, excited for the music video to come out, and it's exciting to get something a bit more up tempo as well out after Break a Broken Heart.
It's a very kind of club dancey track almost. I'm waiting to see like the Seventh Heaven remix or the
Yeah,
club remix come out soon.
for sure. That's the plan.
Now being obviously you're under City Pop as your label, but also Panic Records,
Yeah.
who represent huge artists in Greece and Cyprus. You've got Andrew Lambrou, you've got Josephine, Eleni Ferreira. What was it like, I guess, being brought in under such an amazing Greek label, and how they kind of worked with you over the year?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Honestly, Eurovision, I mean, as you know, it's just the most amazing thing ever. And it's opened so many doors for me in Europe. And I think one of the most beautiful things is, apart from the record label, just the people of, you know, the people in Europe, the people in Greece and Cyprus, they've embraced me so much. And I think that's what's giving all of us so much fuel and motivation to move, because, even just walking the streets of Greece and Athens and stuff like that. Like I think I went to around 6 or 7 different Greek islands on my little holiday, and I got stopped in every single Greek island. Got stopped in Athens multiple times just from people just saying lovely things about Eurovision, about what I'm doing. So the support is there, and that's probably the most amazing thing for me. And then on top of that, Panic and City Pop are all working together and making things happen, like this music video and getting music out there. And I definitely plan on keeping the momentum coming now. I want to release a bit more frequently. There was a bit of a break after Eurovision, because I live in Australia, but I've been back and forth to Europe like 6 or 7 times this year now, which is crazy. So it's finding that perfect balance, and I'm fortunate to be working with labels like Panic to make this happen.
Yeah, how would you say, obviously it's been such a whirlwind year. I feel like you're almost more Greek than you are Aussie now. How has your life changed? How's the day-to-day changed since, let's say, a year ago when you were announced as
Yeah.
the Cypriot act?
I mean, it's certainly changed, that's for sure. To have all this opportunity on the other side of the world is quite mind blowing. And, living in Australia, this is where I grew up. This is where I'm born. I am proud Aussie as well, of course. But we do live very far away from many countries in the world. So I'm getting very used to that 22-hour flight. But I think the most beautiful thing is, as I mentioned before, finding that balance. Like, I go overseas and I'm getting so much love and support from people in Greece and Cyprus and in Europe in general. And then, also having that support back home here in Australia. So it's music travels. And of course, Eurovision was the gateway for that for me. So I think that's the most exciting thing, that my music's kind of spreading all around the world, not just in Europe. And of course, the people of Australia support me here too. So it's it's a beautiful balance between Europe and Australia right now, for sure.
There's definitely harmony there. And I feel like there's even harmony, you were mentioning in music, but also your fashion. You've been a bit of a fashion icon recently. I've seen you on the front of magazines in Greece. You
Yeah.
walked the mad walk in Greece. You've done like a stage kind of catwalk there. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. Eurovision has also just opened up so many relationships for me. And I think that massive credit to the team, to the Cyprus team, and everyone that put my package together for Eurovision. But the company that the label that styled me for Eurovision and made my outfit for the stage, Dante, I really gravitated towards them, and they did the same to me. And that's how these opportunities now are arising overseas, like performing as the face of Dante for Mad Walk this year was just extremely spectacular. And I have so much faith in his name's Andonis, who creates the clothes, and he gets me as well. So I feel like we're a very good fit, and that's where all these opportunities are coming from. But that's, as I said, all credit to Eurovision as well, because I met all these people through Eurovision, and I have an amazing stylist in Greece, Michael Tsoukas. He basically brought all these connections together, and it's lovely to see them grow after Eurovision. Eurovision's happened now, but things are still moving post Eurovision. So I love that.
I think it's also a testament to how hardworking you are as well. Obviously, from a few years ago, I remember seeing you at Australia Decides, and you had put everything to that stage performance. And I know you are such a hard worker. So obviously, take credit yourself for all the work you do as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You obviously have said you're spending time between Greece and Australia. Do you maybe one day plan to call Greece home for a little while?
Yeah, I mean, it might be something that I have to do. And I think that at the moment, I spent 3 months over there. I had a fantastic time. I'm a family guy as well. My whole family's over here in Australia. I do have some family in Greece too, which I definitely caught up with. So it'll be hard to basically not see, my loved ones for a long period of time. That's why I'm kind of enjoying the sweet spot between spending time in Greece and then coming back. But my career is so important to me, and the love and support that I'm getting overseas is, as I mentioned, it's quite mind blowing, to fly 22 hours to a different country and be getting all this love. So whatever opportunities arise, I'm going to take the bull by the horns and go with it. So if that means if I have to call Greece home for a couple of years, that might be the case.
Love that. And how is your Greek? Are you getting a bit more fluent nowadays?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm a bit disappointed in myself. I have been working very hard, but not hard enough on speaking Greek. It's hard. It's hard, man. But I'll get there. I think I've been so busy, writing songs, recording music videos, getting ready for fashion shows. I've been doing so many different things that it's been hard to kind of just sit down and practice my Greek. But we are getting there. I know my diction is perfect. Whenever I say something, I know that it's definitely correct, but it's fluently being able to speak. That's the next step.
Maybe you should start releasing some Greek versions of your songs to practice.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I plan on doing that at some point. So I think that's going to take me to the next level.
Love that. Now, Cyprus obviously had so much faith in you as an Australian artist, and they've recently announced Celia Kapsis as the Cypriot representative for next year's Eurovision. Have you spoken to Celia at all?
Yeah, I have. I've spoken to Celia. I do plan on meeting up with her. She lives, funny enough, very close to where I live here in Australia, which is crazy. So I'm going to plan on catching up with Celia. I want to give her my experience and tell her, you know, what I learned from the whole experience and what to expect from my end. I'd love to give her a bit of advice there. And I think she's extremely talented. So she just has to believe in herself and she'll smash it. And, you know, maybe I've started a little trend here with Cypriot entrance from Australia. So I'm not complaining.
Love that. I feel like we should just get all of the Cypriot Australians over.
There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us.
Now, Australia have yet to announce their participation at Eurovision next year. I mean, it goes without saying, would you love to see Australia back next year? And if you did, who would you like to see back?
Oh, that's really, really hard. I mean, of course, I'd love to see Australia. I mean, when we're talking past contestants, everyone's done such an amazing job. Dami, you know, I think everyone remembers Dami's performance. And I'm sure that if she were to go again, she would absolutely smash it. But yeah, there's a lot out there. It's too hard to name a few, but Dami would be one just because of how close she was to taking the title.
Would you love to maybe come back for Australia one day?
If I was asked, this is something that I would definitely explore. I mean, I would do Eurovision again in a heartbeat. If it was for Cyprus, Australia, I would do it again for sure.
Looking back, what do you think your favorite memory was from Liverpool?
Well, there's many. There's many memories that I've taken away from it. One of the most special things I think that I took away from Eurovision was really finding myself as an artist. And when you step on such a grand stage, it really prepares you for the rest of your career. You know, like every artist might be in a situation where it might be performing at a fashion show, or it might be this, it might be that. And, you know, your nerves can creep up on you. But when you do something like Eurovision and you put everything into it and you kind of conquer the fear yourself, it makes everything else much more enjoyable. That's just my personal experience. I find that stepping on a stage now feels even more enjoyable than it was before Eurovision, because I basically got given a platform to prove myself to the world. So that's probably one of the most beautiful things that I took away from Eurovision, is really finding who I am as an artist on stage. And secondly, it's just the relationships, as I mentioned before, so many relationships with artists that I met there, with different people that were part of my team. Like, I feel like I have this team overseas now and team in Australia. And that's one of the most important things about being an artist, is having that team behind you that can push you when you need it. So there's a million different things I can talk about that I'm grateful for from Eurovision.
Love that. And now that you've been in Greece so often, are you listening to some more Greek music? Do you have any artists you love listening to, you'd love to collaborate with?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, there's artists like Argyros. He's fantastic, and I've been keeping up with what he's doing. And, you know, I met up with Evangelia recently, and she's opening for Argyros's concert, especially just did one in New York. I did a duet with Claudia, who's an amazing vocalist. And yeah, I've just been meeting up with many different people and seeing people from Panic as well, part of the team. So there's many different artists that I'd like to collab with in the future. But first things first, I need to make sure I get my Greek perfect.
Definitely do that. Well, I love you say that, because you said Evangelia. I'm just a bogan Aussie, so I've always read it and said it as Evangelia. So you've taught me today.
Well, I mean, I believe many people call her Evangelia, but me being, you know, Cypriot Aussie, Evangelia is how most Greeks would say her name.
Love it. All right. What's next for you, Andrew? So you've got the video clip out, you've got the music out, going to keep promoting that. Where do you want to see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yep. So great question. So for sure, promoting the next single. That's going to take up a bit of my time for a couple of weeks, but I want to basically start pumping out the singles and get an EP out. That's what I want. I want like a 1 a month type thing. I feel like a lot of my followers now, they want content and they want new music, and it has been a minute since the last song. So I want to get as many songs as I can out, and then I want to start doing some touring and performing in Greece, Cyprus, Europe, Australia, wherever it may be. I want to start putting that together and performing for everyone. So that's my 6 to 12 month plan. And I mean, maybe in a few years we'll do Eurovision again. We'll see.
We can't wait to see, in the meantime, the world tour of Andrew Lambrou. Thank you so much. Take My Breath Away is out now. Thanks for joining us. And we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.